Yes.
All right, you're up.
Good morning. I want to welcome you to the November 4th Board of Supervisors meeting and Planning Commission meeting. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong one, October 31st. Jumped ahead one agenda. I want to first, we're going to go into our county supervisor meeting. I'm going to call that meeting to order. Craig, would you pray for us?
Let's pray. Lord God, as always, we stop before we ever get started, Lord, to invoke your presence here with us, to thank you for being with us, to thank you for never leaving or forsaking us. Lord, thank you for giving us the privilege to serve our fellow man, to serve this community. Father, these men who've been given skills, abilities, Lord, talents, thank you for them. Thank you for their willingness to serve this community. I pray, Father, that they'll feel a sense, Lord, of accomplishment today, that you will help them as they deliberate, that you'll give them the wisdom that they need. Father, I pray for all of our citizens to feel that they have been well represented today, and Lord, may you be pleased with what is accomplished here today. As always, Lord, we think about the men and women who you have called and dedicated to serve by protecting our community. I pray for their safety and their safe return to their families. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Craig. Wow, this year is flying by. I want to start off by reminding you, if you haven't voted, then you're going to be out of the county, or you're over 65, or you have any kind of reason, you can leave from right here and go right up the hill and vote today. Otherwise, vote tomorrow. Thank you. We've got something very special I want to go to first. It's public recognition, and Sawyer Jackson Ross, are you with us, sir? I thought so. Would you come on up front? Sawyer won the Mississippi State Talent Show contest. Wait now. I think you're without your toolkit. You got it? You got it, buddy? He's gonna need that mic.
Oh, you gonna need the mic?
Well, just
we're
turn
gonna put it over here to
All
the
right.
side for you. How
All
about
right,
that?
I'm gonna turn this over to your supervisor, Super Sid Scarborough.
Sawyer, we got, Craig's gonna give you a little piece of paper recognizing you, but first of all, I want you, hit us a little tune with that harmonica and show everybody, what you do.
Hey, do it, Mike. Hey, hold that mic for me. Well, we got a mic over here. That's good. Thank you.
Come on, stand right up here, Sawyer.
Sorry, I'm Greg Slay. You turn face this audience, they need to see you, man. They don't need to see
Picture
you, they need to
taken.
see you. Absolutely. This is Sawyer Jackson Ross. He's an 11-year-old, about to be 12, and he is the son of John and Heather Ross, all of whom are residents of Rankin County Supervisor District 1. Sid wanted that specifically mentioned.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Let them know where the talent come from.
We got that covered. I would like to ask Mom and Dad to come forward if they will. I'd like for you guys to be up here while I was recognized. We didn't coordinate all this ahead of time. They may be a little bit surprised. You okay with that? We bring Mom and Dad. The proud parents, we are super excited to recognize and commend Sawyer Jackson Ross on his accomplishment at the state fair, the talent show competition at such a young age. So I'll read this resolution, and then I think, Sid, you've got a comment or two that you want to make after we get through here. So on October the 4th, 2024, Sawyer competed in the 2024 Mississippi State Fair Talent Show contest, and he sang the Zach Bryan song called Pink Skies. It's noteworthy that Sawyer vocalized the song while playing his guitar and his harmonica. I saw a video, by the way. So, very impressive. Sawyer was awarded first place, and he earned a $500 prize. Sawyer routinely shares his musical talent with family and friends, as well as the greater community. And he also participates in Rankin County 4-H and the East National Rodeo. Sawyer can also be found sharing his musical abilities with the residents at local retirement communities such as Villa South and Falcon Crest. Whereas Sawyer began his love of music at an early age, receiving an electric guitar at age 5 and mastering it quickly. Sawyer also plays the bass guitar, the drums, the piano, and of course, the harmonica. So whereas Sawyer's an excellent straight A student at Florence Middle School, and he's involved in Junior National Beta Club, he's a well-rounded young man enjoying 4-H activities such as shooting sports, livestock, and cooking contests. And whereas Rankin County Board of Supervisors is a proud supporter of wholesome children and youth activities such as 4-H in our county, and we are especially proud to support our youth who seek to achieve at the highest levels. The board believes that healthy competition and contests provide experiences, opportunities, and encounters that instill valuable mental and physical skills, work ethic, and learning experiences that would otherwise be unavailable. So we are very proud of Sawyer Ross family for their commitment to organizations like the State Fair, the Dixie National, Rankin County 4-H, and the public school system in Rankin County. And it is with great pride on behalf of all of the citizens of Rankin County that we, the Rankin County Board of Supervisors, recognize and commend Sawyer Jackson Ross on his special achievements at the 2024 Mississippi State Fair Talent Contest. That's resolved and adopted today, the 31st of October. Sorry, this is signed on behalf of each of the supervisors and by our Chancellor Clerk, Mr. Scarborough. And we're all super proud of your accomplishments, especially knowing that you're a straight A student, first and foremost, but then sharing your talents with us, the musical talents, and especially with folks that are maybe a little older, in the nursing homes and in our convalescent care. Your willingness to go and do that makes us very, very proud of you. So congratulations.
Can they move down here?
Down to the middle here, and we're gonna get a picture with each of the supervisors. We're gonna let D1 get right there in the middle.
S1.
S1.
Thank you.
No, sir, I'm making sure my supervisor has that to be able to give to Sawyer. Let's give him one more hand.
All right. For those that do not know, the harmonica is one of the most challenging instruments to learn to play. I tried it for a minute and I was doing. Look, we're kind of out of order over here. Keith, can everybody stand up and move a chair one down? And that chair, are you gonna sit there? Okay, all right, we're kind of in order now. I don't know why seating arrangements bother me. I gotta have everything just like it was.
We've noticed that.
All right,
Why don't we move these around occasionally?
I know, just to aggravate me. All right, do I have a motion to recess out of the board
I'll make
of
that
supervisors?
motion to recess and go into our planning commission.
All right, Brad makes a motion.
Second.
Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We are gonna recess and move into our planning commission. Now I'm gonna call the planning commission to order. Anybody
Consideration.
wanna have anything to say or consideration of our minutes from October 3rd? Do I have a motion to approve
I'll
them?
make a motion to approve October 3rd minutes.
Brad makes a
Second.
motion.
I
Sid second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Old business? None?
No.
All right. New considerations, let's start there. District 1.
All right, the first item under new considerations, we have David Meadows. He's seeking a conditional use permit to rezone 10 acres of a 28-acre parcel at 110 Spell Lane. Mr. Meadows is proposing to divide 10 acres at the rear of the property from C3 to RE1A. The 10 acres will be accessed from Summerlin Road and sold for development. This is an aerial view of the property. The Meadows Golf and Driving Range is located on the front portion of the property that fronts on Spell Lane. The surrounding properties to the 10 acres he is proposing to rezone is RE1A. Now, this is a view of the property from Summerlin Road. And these are surrounding properties.
Did you say that was a driving range?
Yes, sir.
We don't drive very far. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
All right, our next item under new considerations is JGA Holdings LLC. They're seeking a conditional use permit to operate a short-term rental at 301 Hanley Circle. The property is located in Castlewood subdivision and is zoned R1B. Here is an aerial view of the property. They plan to follow a rigorous and safety security protocol to ensure guests and neighbors are safe and happy. They will have a list of rules and requirements posted inside the home and advertised on the rental sites. Kimberly Johnson is the owner. She lives within 5 miles of the home and will personally manage the property. The maximum length of stay is 6 months and with a 2-night minimum. JGA Holdings currently runs several other short-term rental properties in other jurisdictions surrounding the county. And these are surrounding properties.
I know we have some new regulations or whatever we put in just a few months ago, and y'all have reviewed it.
Yes, sir.
They,
And I believe they've got a copy of that, right? They've received a copy of what we, of our requirements.
We require short-term rentals like this to apply for permission literally to get a permit to operate a short-term rental. They are conditional uses in the zoning context here, and so that's why we have to have a hearing on it, public hearing on it. You will set conditions. You'll consider the application for the permit. You'll consider whether or not to issue, and then to set conditions if you choose to do so. You also have an opportunity, because it's a public hearing, to hear from any interested individuals, anybody in the public that wants to speak on that matter. I do want to point out that your regulations have, and I would encourage anybody that is interested in short-term rentals, how those are handled in unincorporated Rankin County, should secure a copy of our regulations so that they can familiarize themselves with them. One of the regs that you guys implemented in your update to your zoning ordinance is that there are limitations on the number of short-term rentals that are allowed in any given platted subdivision. And so this obviously is a platted subdivision. There will be a limitation on the total number that can be allowed in that subdivision. So I do want to point that out, that you typically will not see an entire neighborhood convert over to some sort of VRBO, Airbnb arrangement. We don't allow that. There are strict limitations on the number. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out.
Craig, can you just remind me, who monitors that? I mean, we do up to 6 months.
Our Office of Community Development, and you know, maybe sound somewhat self-serving, but I do want to compliment them because they aggressively monitor short-term rental marketing. They're consistently on the websites where one goes to find availability. So they know where they are, and when they pop up, we mark that and we check that and we look at that and we make a quick determination, do they have a permit? If they don't, they're notified.
Okay.
I think that may be what happened here, right? So our system is working in that we have a way to monitor these across unincorporated county and then to raise the issue. Obviously, with you guys having only recently, like within the last year, updated your regulations in your zoning ordinance, there's a period of time where we need to educate the larger community, right? They don't know necessarily that we have a permit process, so being afforded an opportunity, hey, come forward and get your permit, right? So we're working through, getting up to speed and getting the word out that there is a process that has to be followed if you're gonna engage in this type of land use in Rankin County. You gotta get in compliance with the regulations. There's a number of regulations, by the way, just a quick reminder, we have parking restrictions, we have how the trash is handled. I mean, it gets very detailed as to what the operator of a given short-term rental is required to do, because what we don't want to see happen is a disparate impact on long-term ownership properties, adjacent properties. We don't want to see a disparate impact. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to item 3.
All right, this is Ronald Scott Fortune. He is seeking a conditional use permit to replace a 1996 manufactured home with a 2024 16 by 60 manufactured home at 1001 Fortune Drive. This is an 8-acre parcel. It is zoned RE1. Here's an aerial view of the property. Mr. Fortune currently resides on the property to care for his 77-year-old mother with medical issues, and she also walks with a cane. RE1 zoning allows manufactured homes with a hardship. The home will be placed in the same location the existing home will be removed from. And this is a view of the home that's being replaced from Fortune Drive and surrounding properties.
All right. Thank you. We did hear this is a hardship. There is a mobile home there that is much dated, that's going to be replaced with a new, in order for this person to care for their mother. All right, let's leave from there and let's go to our public hearings. Is that good? All right.
Set the public hearing.
Let's start setting our public hearings.
Mr. President, I believe we can take one motion and set all 3 of those. They are all for the same date and time.
I'll make a motion to set all the public hearings
Good.
November the 4th.
You good? Second. Okay. All right, Brad makes a motion to set them all on November the 4th. Scott seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, those are all set. Site planning.
Site plan architectural review. All right, the next item is a site plan architectural review for Defining Wellness at 3949 Highway 43 North. They are proposing to construct 4 dormitory buildings, an admissions building, a clinic, and a storage building. This is a 23-acre parcel zoned RE1. And this is the aerial view of the property.
Do we have anybody here from EOC?
Justin's back.
Okay, all right.
These structures will be engineered modular buildings that have been approved by a Mississippi engineer to meet all structural and wind design requirements.
All right. I realize this is site and architectural review. We have some issues. And Justin, I want to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
You may not be prepped because I didn't talk to you about this before, and it's not your, I know. We have a site, I mean, they have a site out there now
Yes, sir.
that handles, do you know about how many people?
I don't have an exact number.
We do have a representative of Defining Wellness spotted in the audience, folks that are involved.
Okay.
If it's all right with you, I'm taking liberties here, so
Yes.
forgive me for this. We actually had a fairly lengthy meeting with representatives of Defining Wellness and the contractor who's been engaged to construct all this. And we laid out for them several of the concerns that the board has raised, primarily with law enforcement response, emergency response, and other things like that. And we received, as a follow-up to that meeting, a lengthy letter from Defining Wellness that will be a part of the file associated with this review that we're conducting now. Two or three pages, worth of information that settled the issues of how Defining Wellness will take responsibility to see to it that emergency response, healthcare response is addressed by Defining Wellness as much as possible before it becomes a county matter, county law enforcement matter, or county emergency response matter. They have mechanisms in place now to address some of the impact on county services.
We almost need a substation right there, which we don't have the volunteers
Right.
to run it. But anyhow, this is, I guess, not the proper time to address the issues that I have, which this is site planning and that type of stuff. So, but I do have issues, and I wanna make sure that we get those resolved. I do not want for people to leave here thinking, oh, we're on the downhill slide now. We're not.
Steve, do you wanna just move to table the consideration of the site plan until the next planning commission?
Yes.
That would give a period of about 30 days for you to have specific conversations.
Yeah.
And have whatever continuing questions or concerns addressed. Yep, so we can table it, just a motion to table for,
I'll make a motion to
until the
table
November
this
Planning commission.
to the next planning commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Scott seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes, it's tabled.
Brian, what's the date of the planning commission for November?
November 27th.
Which is a Wednesday. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
All right, so
Okay.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving will be our planning commission. That's where this matter can, if the board deems appropriate, it can be taken off the table and acted on that day. Again, assuming, Steve, that all considerations, all concerns have been addressed.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Brian, can you make sure that a copy of the Defining Wellness
Yes.
communication goes to Mr. Gaines?
Yes.
And
I will get you
that
that.
way, they laid out in great detail the kinds of actions that they intend to take, that will
We hadn't seen those actions in the past.
correct.
Okay,
Yep, I think there may.
the history has not been good.
I think there's new management. That is correct. Am I accurate? Under new management.
Okay,
So that, again, I think we wanna make sure that all of the board's concerns are addressed before we pull the trigger. Keep in mind, site plan architect review
I know.
is administrative in nature. You guys are really, you're only being, the only action you have is, we're good with the way it looks, we're good with the way it's situated, we're good with whatever the operation of that facility is gonna be. So it's a very limited approach to it, so.
Yes.
Now is the time to say, whoa, let's don't pull the trigger
well, I
until we know.
don't them to spend money and with the mindset that we're on a downhill slope.
No question.
Because we've gotta fix, maybe they've already put some things in that will help fix the problems we have out there. Okay,
We'll make sure. November the 27th.
all right, we've already voted on it. Nuisance.
Gentlemen, there's one item under nuisance considerations. This is the Victor Allnet nuisance property at 146 Sherwood Lane. This is District 3 property. We'll open that public hearing. I'll ask Mr. Allnet or anyone on his behalf to be prepared to come forward and address the board. Brian's going to demonstrate with the photos.
We received a complaint on July the 11th, 2024, about a recreational vehicle being used as a residence. Work was being done on the home without a permit, inoperable vehicles and rubbish and debris were found. These pictures were taken on July 11th. We received a call from the property owner's girlfriend, and she stated they were in the process of remodeling the home. Office staff made her aware a permit was needed and gave her the permit requirements by phone.
Have they applied? Have they, no permit?
We haven't been in contact. And these are the pictures that were taken yesterday. No contact has been made, certified letters have been mailed and were picked up by owner and no permit pulled. Colby could hear the generator being ran near the camper. He wasn't able to make contact with anyone at the home because two large dogs were guarding the property.
Do we have some pictures of other properties around this? Where it's located?
It's kind of secluded, isn't it?
It's the only house on that street. It's one way in, one way out.
I'll make them, is anybody here?
On behalf
Victor?
of this matter.
Mr. Allnet? Anyone?
I make a motion to declare it a nuisance.
Second. All right, Brad makes a motion, I second that motion to declare it a nuisance. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Before I close the hearing, Mr. Supervisor, Mr. Calhoun,
Yes.
there's a couple of matters here. You've got both the nuisance issue, right,
And the
which the
permit.
dilapidated vehicles and other issues. You've also got, you also have zoning ordinance violations. We don't allow an occupancy of a recreational vehicle as a dwelling. We don't allow that in Rankin County. That's a zoning ordinance consideration. Probably got some nuisance aspects to it as well, but it's definitely a zoning ordinance violation. Secondarily, the failure to pull permit is clearly a zoning ordinance problem and a building code problem. So your referral for this matter through community development up to justice court should include not just the nuisance, but also the zoning violations. All of that needs to be included in the affidavit that is presented to the justice court. Is that satisfactory to you?
That would be, if I need to make another motion, I will.
No, sir. I think as long as it's clear, it's on the record, that's the substance of your motion.
That's right.
Craig,
Yes, sir.
and I'm not speaking specifically about this particular case.
Yes, sir.
We have had people to come to us, they're gonna, whether it's renovation or adding a room or whatever,
I'll build a house.
and get a permit.
Yes, sir.
And ask if they can stay in something less than what we normally would consider a home for a period of time.
Yes, sir.
And we have approved that.
Yes, sir.
But we have not had that conversation.
No, sir.
We have none.
No,
So
sir.
we've got to go in the direction we're going in.
Agreed.
I feel that. Okay.
Yes,
Is there a meter there on site? Is that the reason they're running a generator, because there's no power to the,
Did you s-
don't know?
We don't release power.
Well,
You got an ordinance that requires the electric utility providers to contact us concerning the state and condition of our construction process. And typically, when we get a CO, we get time for a CO to be issued, we get a request from the power company to release the power. That comes to the county. So there's a process that we follow, and we do it for public safety reasons, you guys know. Steve, just to clarify, there may have been some occasions where we
Hardship,
allowed,
things like that.
yeah, where we allowed an RV
For sure.
to be a short-term occupancy. I don't recall off the top of my head when that would have happened. More likely, what we do is allow a mobile home to be
Okay.
used as the temporary.
True.
Because a mobile home is ostensibly, it's gonna pass certain occupancy
Codes.
requirements and codes that are typically through the Commissioner of Insurance office,
Yes.
that type of thing. And it also satisfies our wind load requirement on stormy weather. So recreational vehicles don't qualify at all as it relates
I
to.
retract that. The things I'm thinking of was mobile home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So just in case somebody
Thank you.
got the idea.
No, thank you, thank you. All right. Do y'all have anything else, community development? Do you have anything else, Craig?
Yes, sir.
All right, our next meeting will be on this, planning commission, the next planning commission will be November 27th, 2024. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Scott makes a motion.
Second.
Sid seconds a motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed, we're adjourned, and now we're gonna go back into Board of Supervisors meeting, and we have already called it to order.
Anybody on public comment?
Do we have anyone here for public comment? I do not have a sheet. I have public hearings, but nobody on public comment. Okay. Mike Harrison, Road Manager. Mike, you've got several things here.
Yes, sir, I appreciate the board letting me move my stuff from Monday to today since I won't be here Monday. I'll try to go through it pretty quick for you.
Okay.
We got road work accomplished for October and road work scheduled for November.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
All right. Brad makes a motion.
Second.
Scott seconds the motion to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
I got some utility permits. I'd like to take B and C together. Unified Fiber, utility over Spillway. Both of those are District 2.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Scott makes a motion.
I'll second.
Sid seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Got C, CenterPoint Energy, on new gas line in District 4. BD.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad second that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Ceasefire on Baker Lane, District 4 property.
I'll make
Install
a motion
fiber
to approve.
Second.
Brad seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Got F with Comcast, Washington Drive, District 2. Their cable TV installed.
Motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Scott makes a motion. Sid seconds that motion. Any other discussion?
They still run a cable for TV?
I reckon so.
All right. All in favor?
Some of them a little slow.
Aye. Motion passes.
Request approval of Windstream Communication fiber optic, between Hidden Ranch Road and Yankee Marie Drive, District 1.
I'll make a motion.
Sid makes a motion.
Second.
Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I got discussion of potential action of our Silver Link Road plan. We discussed this a few months ago and got approved to put together a package for this year. I think each one of y'all have got a package in front of you and probably been emailed out to you to look at. If you don't have a copy, let me know, but I think I've got everybody a hard copy now. So basically we looked at this as, Rankin County unit system, put together a plan of what we've done in the past few years since we did our survey 4 years ago. And we picked up just right where we left off. Me and my staff have rode and looked at these roads. We agree with the plan. There's a couple of them that we may not quite do the whole road, but massage it just a little bit. But I'm gonna say we're about 99% good with the plan that we have in hand right now.
Mike, this, for people that don't know, the Civil Link plan is a third party,
That's actually a third-party engineer we hired.
engineer that has
It's
no interest, no political ties.
That's correct.
They go over every mile of our county roads and they put a plan together. Which roads need which applications? And in today's road building and maintenance, it's a lot different than it was just 10 years ago. There's applications that we can put on roads and people think, oh, we gotta have asphalt. Well, some roads the dirt is bad. And there's some applications that we can put on them that move with the road and they don't crack up as bad. So, this Civil Link plan gives us a plan of what applications on what roads, how many miles, and Mike works with them and we come up with a figure of what it's gonna cost. We try to take the politics out. of whose district or what road. We try to do it by the plan of an outside engineering company, and it's worked pretty good in the last 4 years. I think it'll work better now with this board. So I make a motion, we approve this civil link plan as you have presented it to us.
Yes, sir.
Do I have a second?
We can, make minor changes, on.
This is a plan,
Right,
yes,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, what you see, here, I'm trying to change it up a little bit from what it is in the
Right.
past. Each road's got a dollar figure for them.
Right.
That's an estimated dollar figure that you've got, that you can look at. The biggest thing is just kinda allocating the money out.
Right.
And, if we see a road that's coming apart somewhere else, then we can move
Right.
that road up.
Right.
Everything depends on the amount of money that's available
Absolutely.
at the time we get ready
Yeah,
to go do
this
the work.
is a $16 million plan
Yeah.
I got in front of y'all guys.
I expect 20% of it to change. And some changes occur when, a year and a half from now, somebody builds a house that needs 300 truckloads of dirt,
Right.
and it tears that road up. Well, that wasn't in the plan. The outside engineer, or Mike, none of us could have forecasted that. So this is probably about 80% solid. But at least we have a plan.
Right.
All right.
I second.
All right, Sid seconds.
Go ahead, Sid. No,
I made the motion, Sid seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Slay.
Mr. President, first item under my section is to set a public hearing for November the 4th at 9 a.m. for the Robert Scott Fortune Conditional Use Permit 1001 Fortune Drive, District 4 property. Just need a motion to set that.
This is one of them that we just discussed.
Yes, sir.
This is where they're taking an old mobile home out, putting a new mobile home in, hardship case. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Yep. Mr. President, the next item is a public hearing. This will be a public hearing on the Old Dog Fireworks Conditional Use Permit, Highway 25's District 4 property. I'll open that public hearing. Old Dog Fireworks is seeking a conditional use permit to operate a fireworks stand on Highway 25. This is an 11.1 acre parcel, is zoned A2. They are proposing to place a 30 by 70 tent on the 2 acres on the east side of Highway 25, where the road splits the property. The hours of operation will be Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and will start on December the 15th. As the board is reminded, there is a period of time set by state law that a fireworks stand can operate within, and those times are defined by statute. You don't get a vote on when they can open and when they have to close. And so they will follow state law as it relates to the dates of operation. So 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., there will be on-site 24-hour security. We have received no calls in opposition to this request for conditional use. Our fire coordinator has been made aware of the request and is prepared to take whatever steps are necessary to address any of the emergency response fire coordination issues. That public hearing is open. I will ask, is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the Old Dog Fireworks conditional use permit request? Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition. We have representatives of the applicant present if the board had any questions. If the board has no questions, we can close that public hearing and take action.
All right. I'm aware of where it's going. North end of the county, I call it the Cold Bluff area. I don't know how many miles it is from there to the next closest one, but it's a lot of miles. And our youth and families enjoy fireworks, just like everybody else. I think that, I think it's a good thing.
Good.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve it. Do I have a second?
Second.
I made the motion, Brad seconded the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Yes, sir. Next item, Mr. President, is a public hearing on the Pierce Construction Conditional Use Permit, Star Road. This is District 1 property. I'll open that public hearing. Pierce Construction is seeking a conditional use permit to mine 4 acres on Star Road. This is a 144-acre parcel, is zoned A1. This mining operation will fall under the Department of Environmental Quality's 4-acre notice of exempt operations. It's an exempt mining operation as long as it's 4 acres or less. That public hearing is open. We have received no calls in opposition to the Office of Community Development. Okay, so I don't know if anybody else has received any calls in opposition. So that public hearing is open. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Pierce Construction Conditional Use Permit for an exempt mine operation on Star Road. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition. We have typical conditions that we use, if I may. I'll just walk the board quickly through our typical conditions that flow through to any of these conditional use applications for exempt mining operations. So here we go. Typically, we have an hours of operation that we like to use. We've got Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. during daylight time, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during standard time, which is about to take effect. No Sunday operations are permitted. We keep a water truck on site for dust control, and that's if, in fact, it's necessary. Right now, with the dry conditions, it may be necessary. We require signage that lets the motoring public know that there are trucks, dump trucks typically entering the highway. And so we require the operator to keep some type of signage there to warn the public. We request that we require that the applicant keep all the public roads that are being utilized for this purpose. They need to be kept free and clear of all debris on a daily basis. And if there's any damage to a public road by state law, they are obligated to reimburse the county for any costs of repairs. That's without saying. Conditional use permit is granted for a 4-acre notice of exempt operation, and there's a form that requires a survey of that area, and we typically require the applicant to actually stake the 4-acre operation so that we can monitor what is actually being mined. Keep in mind, this is a 144-acre parcel, and so we like to know where is the 4 acres going to be in relation to the entire property. And that way, if there's going to be additional work later, it needs to be the subject of another request. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's our typical conditions, and we would suggest, the staff would recommend that we append these conditions to any approval of this conditional use request.
I would like to add, one is the entrance, when they leave and exit the pit, we extend that rock. They have rock where they come in, at least a minimum of 100 foot.
Yes.
To keep from tracking. It just kind of cleans the tires off.
So that's something that we can ask our road department to help us with, Sid.
Right.
And that is, by the way, that is a condition that we've used
Yes.
fairly frequently, I will say.
Right.
We probably just need to add that.
That probably
to all
would be a
of
good
them.
idea.
Right. Just helps keep the tires cleaned off a little bit. As many trucks that's coming in and out.
Yes, sir.
And, we keep that fresh. I mean, if it gets where they need new rock, we just need to keep an eye on it, make sure that we replace it, as it.
I don't know that 100 foot's long enough.
I'd say 200 foot.
Yep, you get a truck and trailer together,
Yeah.
you got 50 foot,
Well,
nearly.
as many trucks,
40 foot.
that's gonna be coming in and out. It don't take long when you water the road, and then they track the water from the dirt on top of the rock, and, and it just, I would say, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's incumbent on the applicant to monitor the condition of the ingress egress. When we do rock, which is appropriate,
Right.
invariably some of that's going to get into the travel lanes.
Right.
So the applicant's got to have a way to get the rock out of the travel lanes. We don't need a lot of broken windshields.
Right.
Yep.
So these things kind of go hand in hand. What what needs to be impressed on folks that are doing this activity is, if you're going to run a dirt hauling operation, you have to be very vigilant about protecting the public, your property, the county's property, and surrounding properties. That's what all this is about. And so I just want to encourage those who are engaged in this activity, be very vigilant to not let your operations become a blinking light.
I feel sure Mr. Pierce and his people will do that.
Good.
Craig,
I'm confident.
Can you clarify something? I know you said no operation on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
7 to 7, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 5 during daylight saving.
Yes, sir. Well, yes, sir, during standard time. Yes, sir.
Standard time. I didn't hear Saturday. What's the, are we operating on Saturday?
Yeah,
and what are the
it
hours?
was Monday through Friday. Are we gonna let them do Saturday?
They all operate on Saturdays, Craig,
All right.
not running on Sunday.
Okay.
Monday
So
through Saturday.
typically, we do Monday through Saturday. I didn't pick up on that, Scott. Thank you for
Yes, sir.
asking for that
Thanks for pointing
clarification.
out that.
Yeah, we'll change that to Monday through Saturday,
Yeah.
7 to 7, with an accommodation for, when it gets dark, we don't need them pulling out into the road.
Right.
That's why we cut it off at 5 o'clock
Make sure that-
when we hit standard time.
Yeah, and where they're at and located, you know, they're coming, it's not really, you know, a lot of neighbors or houses, they moved the, you know, got an entrance, you know, closer to 49, so it's not, you know, I don't believe it'd be a big nuisance to neighbors or affecting, you know.
All right,
I did approve it.
do you have a motion?
I make a motion.
All right, Sid makes a motion to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Scott seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That public hearing is closed, if I didn't, and also the Old Dog Fireworks public hearing is closed. I think I
Yeah.
forgot to close that one,
If
so
we
we're
did.
closing both of those. Item D, under my section, Mr. President, is a public hearing on the Michael and Tara Howington conditional use permit at 517 Parkway Circle. It's the District 4 property. We'll open that public hearing. Michael and Tara Howington are seeking a conditional use permit to construct a 1,600 square foot shop. This will be constructed in the AE flood zone at 517 Parkway Circle. This structure will have 1,024 square feet of open space, a pole barn used for storage, and a 576 square foot enclosure. And they have received an elevation certificate that shows that the structure will be constructed 4 feet above the base flood elevation. Your regulations require a minimum of 2 feet, so they'll be twice as in compliance with your elevation requirement. Tim Parker has received the drainage information that was required to review this matter. That drainage information has been approved, from my understanding. We have not received any calls into the Community Development Office in opposition. That public hearing is open. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Michael and Tara Howington conditional use permit. Is anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter?
Do we need to let Tim explain the engineering side of it?
Well, it's just, for the public, this is a large lot. Their home, which is a very nice home, is on this lot, in a very nice neighborhood. And this, they wanna build a pool, and they wanna have a shop. When we say pole barn, it's a little better than what you imagine as a pole barn.
Yep.
The pole barn itself, or the building that has a place for lawnmowers and stuff like that, is really the part that we're discussing. There is some low area behind it that's wet, and we have had some issues about how much you can build up and what you, because you can't change the flow of the water. And our office has been very entwined with this as it's progressed, with community development, our engineer. They have required studies, reports, engineering, outside engineering reports. And I think we tabled this the last time because we were waiting for one of those letters that engineering report had been finished, we just hadn't received the letter. We have received the letter now, and we're ready to take action. So now, if you are here in opposition or have a comment, this is the time to do it.
Need to give your name and address and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Doc, how you doing today?
Good, good. Bo Scales, 191 Dominion Parkway. I'm not in opposition to it, the shop, or anything else they put there. What I have a concern about is when they go to put this shop, a pole barn, or a new house, I don't care, that would be HOA stuff, is how much elevation are they generating that would impact somebody else? And that was the whole reason for tabling it last time. We need a study done, a hydrological assessment of how that's going to impact neighbors. And all I'm here now is just, can I get a copy of that? I've been generating and assessing and evaluating data for 60+ years. I can handle this one. But I'd just like to see a copy
Yes.
of it, so it doesn't say, okay, everything's good to go, boys, y'all hit them.
Absolutely,
Can you-
yes, sir.
Can you give him the avenue?
Absolutely. We'll make a public record request available to Dr. Scales, and he can submit a public record request, and we will evaluate the request. As long as there's not anything in that report that has to be redacted, or if there's some issue with it, I'll review it myself, and assuming that it's subject to being a public record for disclosure purposes, we'll provide him with a copy.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Tim, you have received the letter and the report?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a public record, by the way, even though Mr. Parker's holding it.
Yep.
It's a public record. Just
Okay.
wanted to remind you.
All right.
I'm glad he let you hold it.
Yeah, I bet. I'm gonna let you keep holding it.
Thanks, Greg.
Mr. President, I think we are ready to take action on that. Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition on the Howington request? Anyone else? Mr. President, I don't see anyone else to speak on that matter, so I think at this time it'd be appropriate to close that hearing and take action.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Brad makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Scott seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, I see our friends from Integrated Right-of-Way Services sitting in the back, so that tells me we probably are going to have a property acquisition in executive session, and we've got one item of personnel to address with the board in executive session as well. So I just wanted to let the board be aware of that.
All right, Mr. Hicks, come on down. How was your vacation?
It was wonderful. Glad to be back though. Item A is ratification of authority to publish.
Well, you don't have to tell us a lot about it.
Okay. Planning another one in a couple years, so. We had to publish, yesterday in the newspaper, and we're asking for the board to ratify that publication for our LNA testing for election equipment that will be held tomorrow. I'm sorry, November 5th.
All right.
No, it is tomorrow for our November 5th
I'll make a
election.
motion to approve.
All right.
All right, Brad makes a motion.
I second.
Sid seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item B is, we've had some fire trucks in our inventory for about 22 years, and we went to sell them, realized we didn't have titles for those. We had never received titles on those, so we are asking for authorization for me to get bonded titles for those 2 fire trucks and authority to pay for those.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't know how it happened.
We got tags though.
I don't think anybody here was here 22. No, we didn't have tags either.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I think y'all need to refer that up to Justice Court.
I think so too.
Mr. Hicks needs to be named.
All right, I got a motion to approve by Brad.
I second.
Sid seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Very quickly, just one item for discussion and additional business. The governor has announced plans to allow state agencies to take additional time off for the holidays upcoming. One of those days is the Friday after Thanksgiving, November 29th. The other day is Tuesday, December 24th, the day before Christmas. We're just asking for.
December 24th.
December 24th.
Do we have
yes,
to
sir.
follow that action?
We don't have to, but that's what we're presenting this to get the board's wishes, and we can place it on a future meeting for approval.
You need to place it on this, or we can add it and do it right now.
We can add it and do it right now.
I make a motion, we add this,
Table.
would approve.
The Friday after
I
Thanksgiving.
mean, it gives people time that they can make plans if they're traveling, stuff like that. All right. I made a motion to approve the addition of this to our agenda. Scott, second that motion. Any other discussion? Brad, no other discussion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I'm away.
All right, it's unanimous.
That was to add it. Can we
Approve.
approve it?
All right, now then, do we have a motion to approve? Scott makes a motion to approve. I'll second that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. It's approved.
Just for
Friday,
cl-
November 29th and December 24th will be holidays for the county.
Thank you, sir.
For 1 year, let's try it for 1 year.
But it may be different days later.
You better quit playing with fire.
Okay, any other additional business? Y'all look at the clock now. All right,
See it.
Hey, do we need to talk about that?
December what,
Live oaks? Or do
December
they-
24th,
Proper. Live oaks now?
Yeah, we can.
additional
It's
business,
appropriate.
additional business.
Yeah.
One other item to talk about as additional business, Mr. President, prompted by my supervisor. In the Live Oak subdivision, you guys declared an emergency situation, if you recall, as a part of our ARPA project. What we discovered was that there was a drainage, an item of drainage infrastructure that we determined was placed outside of a dedicated easement and had ceased functioning, and because of that, the water backed up into the roadbed, and the road failed once the construction traffic for the ARPA project was utilizing that section of the road. Once we discovered what was causing the road failure, you declared an emergency so that it would allow us to address the full scale of the problem, which involved the drainage infrastructure. While we were making the corrections under the emergency declaration, we discovered after the fact that the actual pipe that was installed by the developer was installed outside of the easement boundary onto private property. So your declaration protected you from any argument that you were conducting work on private property. We didn't know, so your declaration protected you there. The property owner is not satisfied, is not happy about where the drainage infrastructure is located. We thought it was inside the easement. It's not.
That was presented to us as a preliminary plat showing it.
That's
going
correct.
In the easement, but
This is not a county error. I want to make that clear. This was not a county error. This was a lack of attention on the part of other parties as to the specific placement of the original drain. And that thing could have been sitting there for what, Brad, 25 years or more?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I think
30
20
years?
at least.
All right. So at the end of the day, the drainage infrastructure is not functioning properly, and so it had to be addressed. Otherwise, we were going to continue to have road failure. All right? Nobody wants that. And so what we're asking, what we would be seeking today is an extension of the emergency declaration that would allow us to correct the location of the drainage infrastructure, get it back in the easement where it's supposed to be. And that's what we're doing. We believe and have a cost estimate for that. Again, this will be a part of an emergency declaration. We believe that the cost estimate for that work is in the neighborhood of about $30,000 to $40,000. That's a conservative estimate to be able to finish it out. And so what we would want is a motion to extend the emergency declaration that allows us to get in there and to effect these corrections. You've already corrected it once. We got to correct it again to get it in the right spot. It's going to run us about 30 to 40 grand. Any questions about that factual analysis?
And of course, I'm not blaming anyone, but I still don't believe the county should be responsible to pay for all of this movement. I mean, I think there's other parties involved outside the county that should be responsible for a portion of this.
So my thought would be, we got plenty of time,
Okay.
Brad, to make that decision. The statute of limitations on that is at least 3 years.
Okay.
Statute of limitations doesn't run against the county, so it's probably infinity. But we can discuss that and figure out what to do about that. I do want to remind the board that the developer of the subdivision passed away in 2009, I think.
Yeah.
And so the likelihood of a recovery against the developer is slim. So other parties may have some responsibility, but we need to have a conversation about that.
We're gonna move ahead and correct the issue now. We're not
Yeah,
gonna,
so
I
you-
think
you're
we
not
need-
being
I mean, the
asked
thing
to
about it
decide
is
that.
the
Yeah.
ARPA project's finishing up. We fixing to have to go in and put new asphalt down that was in part of the ARPA project. There's no need to do that if we know this drain is going.
Right.
We gotta need to get
Yeah.
the drain.
Yeah, it needs to be.
All
All right, do I have a motion to add this to the agenda? Live Oak subdivision drainage.
I'll make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Yep.
Right.
And for Jared's purposes, what's being added is a motion to extend the emergency declaration to cover your continued emergency response to the drainage infrastructure relocation. Is it Whitney Lane? Is that the name of it? This would be Live Oaks, Woodridge subdivision, Whitney Lane. Okay?
My motion.
Right, second.
All right, Brad makes a motion, Sid seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? All right, now we've added it.
I'll make a
The-
motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a-
I'd like for the motion to also reflect that the county administrator and the road manager are authorized to secure the appropriate contractor to deliver those services, to provide an invoice, and for us to have authority to issue check and payment of the invoice.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Brad makes a motion,
Second.
Sid seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, do we have any other additional business?
Yes,
We have a
with
need.
respect to a discussion about the need to go into executive session, there's a couple of matters, property acquisition and also personnel. Those two matters should be discussed in executive, so if you guys can deliberate concerning a motion to enter into the executive.
All right, do I have a motion for the need to go into executive session to discuss property acquisition and personnel?
I'll make that motion.
Brad makes that motion.
I'll second Brad's motion.
Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now, do I have a motion to go into executive
Make
session?
a motion, go into executive session.
All
And I
right,
will second Brad's motion.
Brad makes a motion. Scott seconds the motion to go into executive. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Recognizing that young man is